The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Is brought to you by Lloyd's Construction and Consulting, providing first-class construction services on 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it. All right, sports concepts and rationalizations. After we get through, are we going to boogity today?
You're darn tootin', Rasputin.
Where are we going, brother?
We're going to send one lucky Guggen with a pair of ducats down to the Wawa 250 at Daytona Friday, August 27th.
Go ahead.
I was listening to your downtime with Dan about Naomi Osaka. It's interesting you brought that up. I was thinking the same thing when I watched her press conference today, and it made me, throw it one step further to, if you're in an individual sport, you shouldn't have to speak to the media if you don't want. What purpose is it? Do you think that tennis is the WTA is any more or less popular from TV, from interest, or anything otherwise if Naomi Osaka is not meeting? In the day, they needed these players to be promoted through the media, through press conferences and otherwise, so that people would know who they are. Well, those days have changed.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Her social media, who is it serving? Who does she owe answers to?
You don't owe answers to anybody, but you want to talk to people after they perform in professional sports.
But I'm not looking at
our industry. That's what we do. We cover the sport.
I understand that. Who is going to miss it if you don't, other than you or I, the industry?
Well, here's what's going to happen. Less people will pay attention.
Okay.
The publications and such that cover the sport will go under. And then the prize money will go down as it affects the player.
Well, no, because I just think that all these athletes have proven, while they may object to this post-match press conference.
Like if you're saying that golf's an individual sport, so if there was no golf channel, which there would not be.
That's not the same, the golf channel. I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
That's not what she's complaining about. She's talking about meeting the media after a match.
After a round, they meet the media. Right. That's what they do. That's a big part of the golf channel.
In fairness, in golf all the time, they will leave without speaking to the media, and no one says a thing.
That's not true. They always say so-and-so left.
And that's it. Comment. It's not a big deal. It's not a...
Well, this wasn't a big deal either until she said, I'm not going to do it.
Well, that's exactly every time a golfer turns down this post-round interview, that's exactly what he's doing.
I don't think you're thinking this one through.
The only person... My point is, it puts it back on the golfer. If you're an individual athlete, you're the brand. It's you. And by the way, Naomi Osaka and her feelings, or Patrick Reed, or whoever the player is that's not speaking to the media, is certainly speaking to the media in other forms. I'm talking about a match ends, and you got to sit up there and take questions. That specifically is what bothers Osaka. That's it.
Like I said, I don't think she should be. I don't think she should do it either, personally, because she has anxieties. But other than that, you should do it. You should want to talk about it's part of it. It's part. What's the difference if after a football game you just had a huge gaffe and you got 8 people waiting at your locker for you?
Yeah, but from the athlete's standpoint, again, team sports are different. You're answering for a lot of other people. The leagues that run you,
but you just struck out to end the game and went 0 for 5 with 4 Ks.
Okay,
Yeah, and it's a big game, and and then you booted the ball.
And from a team sport with the other support and everything else you have around you, I'm not advocating that all athletes don't have to speak to the media. I'm saying, and I'm questioning, I'm not even stating that individual sport athletes.
Yeah.
Why are they beholden to, post match? Golf isn't. It seems like she made such a big deal, but she's not the only one. Who doesn't, didn't want to talk to the media after a match or otherwise?
I couldn't disagree more, but that's fine. Jag's a little bit beat up, but, nothing earth-shattering.
Well,
so
and
we'll talk to Doc Murphy about it coming up here in a few.
Well, Trey Herndon's MCL sprain times up with, C.J. Henderson reemerging into the plans down there. We'll see that, if that stays that engaged. But, Herndon, MCL sprain. Linder's got tendonitis in his knee. I imagine that's the kind of thing that it just, kind of rest and rehab. And, if you had a real game, I don't know, we could ask Doc Murphy. But if we were playing real football right now, would it keep him out?
Right.
It doesn't seem like it.
Right. Jaguars will go to New Orleans this weekend and play Monday Night Football.
How much?
As we start to look ahead and try to kind of figure out who their roster is going to be and, what are they going to do? How are they going to keep? Are they going to keep 2 quarterbacks or 3? Are they going to trade Gardner Minshew? Who are the running backs behind? Are you going to keep a 4th? Are you going to keep Robinson, Hyde, and Etienne, and that's it? Boy, and they love man.
I think he'll
hurts.
keep the 3.
They
Because
love-
you can put some other, I think they go with 3 running backs. I think you
running
got,
backs?
you got a couple of experienced guys there, and you'll have them on the practice squad. Probably whoever that 4th would be, dump him down. I don't know. It depends on where they feel like they're.
Yeah.
That's certainly not going to be one of the biggest need areas. You have pretty 2 proven guys and another guy that you expect a lot out of.
You know it's always a question of how many offensive linemen, but the 7 or 8 they're keeping. The front 5. Walker Little's going to be on the team. Tyler Shatley's going to be on the team.
And then the coaches are probably making a
And
decision
then you
on
decide on
who
Barch and Richardson and the rest of those guys, right?
Yeah, it's probably Barch, and they're playing Barch an awful lot. I don't know if now sometimes they put a guy in, then they determine, well, he's not handling that. But Richardson, having been around long enough, I would think would be the odd man out if they were keeping one of those 2.
They seem to be very high on the Agnew kid as their returner, so he would stay on the team.
Yeah.
So then you have those 3 receivers, the front 3, Chark, Jones, Chenault.
But Agnew, you almost include as a special. I don't even know if I would say he affects the overall receiver number.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're going to see Agnew running a play all year long if people are healthy.
Yeah. Dorsett's automatic. I mean,
they sure talk about him like he is. Philip Dorsett has not had any kind of outstanding NFL career. I don't. What was his best year? Maybe with the Patriots
we
one
year.
year.
It was like 30 catches.
That's
maybe there's one.
Probably
more.
a little more than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not. Do you think that the Jags have major success this year? That it'll have anything to do with Philip Dorsett?
No.
Nor do I. This season is about Chark and Chenault, kick or stick. Are you emerging into playmakers that can be a part of this growth? Because if not, we're going to get you out of the way. We got Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
So it's really on those 2. Again, you can fall into a trap when you cover a bad football team of being impressed by the king of the idiots.
Yeah.
And if all the other players are, if you have anybody who's even playing at the, at a NFL level compared to other guys, then they stand out here. And, Chark's a good example. He had that one Pro Bowl year, and even that wasn't a huge statistical year, and the other 2 have been disappointing seasons.
Yeah. It'll be interesting anyway as they form the roster and go through it. How it's just.
But whether it's Treadwell or Austin or Dorsett or Colin Johnson, I don't. It's probably 3 of those 4 make it. Would you say?
Yeah.
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 And then we didn't get Pharaoh Cooper. I don't know what
I don't know if he.
I don't think so either. Tavon Austin, I don't think makes the football team.
No, probably not.
Been around the NFL for a long time.
Treadwell may not.
I wouldn't be. I've got no gumption to keep. I got no interest in keeping guys who've been in the league 4, 5, 6, 10 years and have never ever flashed anything other than at best average.
Right.
And none of those guys have ever been anything special.
But it is important.
Austin's had big moments.
It is important for Colin Johnson to step up, make some plays like he did last year.
Yeah,
He's getting
for sure.
better. Yeah.
And then you're still going to have room for 2 of those other vets.
Yeah.
Or, they also drafted a guy. Sometimes these guys are hell-bent determined to keep their draft picks, to make sure that their draft picks are part of the future. And I know it was a late pick, and I know they had a big class, so maybe it won't matter. But I think if we get down to keeping the guys that we just picked versus keeping the ones they picked last year or the year before, they're going to go with the ones they just picked.
Also true.
That happens all
you always
a
want
lot.
your guys.
All right.
So anyway, we'll see. And defensively, I won't break down every spot, but you know who the. I guess my point of this
gonna rush
little
the passer?
exercise is that my point of this little exercise is I don't think there's necessarily any. Has anybody been wowing us that we don't know?
This is why I talked about this in the 6 and based it on best case scenario and hope, which this time of the football season is all about. That's why this draft class could take on such a preeminent portion. If guys really do live up to what I saw Hayes Carline yesterday predict Travis Etienne for 1,500 yards. If he's a 1,500-yard impact guy. Walker Little's a guy at one point was considered a top 5, top 10 pick.
Yeah.
What if Walker Little is a 10-year starter? They need this class to be a lot more than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, but we need every class like that.
Well, sure,
Jeff.
but they're not.
And by the way,
there haven't been many, and every team has a class, and the Jags haven't had theirs yet. It's 26. I mean, seriously.
27 shots at it.
Well,
here.
if you go through every team, and I did in 6, we went through the best draft classes for every NFL team.
Yeah.
And right now, you know who you got to beat? 2 of the guys don't even play here, and a third wasn't down. And that's Ramsey, Ngakoue, and Jack is what they say is the best.
Yeah, but my point would be at this point, while there's optimism about this draft class, and that's fine, is it because we're a bad football team and they need these guys? Or
I don't think that's it.
See, I do.
What
I'm saying is this. It's August, 19th?
Yeah.
It's August 19th. I would surmise that every August 19th, as we're sitting here saying the same thing.
I don't. Here's why. I feel like with Walker Little and Cisco in round 3, that those players are players that extenuating circumstances have them being drafted there, not the evaluation of the scout.
Okay, that's fine, but those are risks, and if one of those guys, God forbid, gets hurt again, then it all goes to hell in a handbasket.
You're like a fun sponge over there.
I'm
man.
not a fun sponge, but I'm not putting guys in the hall.
I'm not doing any of such thing.
74 Steelers
what are you
draft
doing?
class.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to say
Name a year.
If you're
Name a year.
For who?
Just give me a year in the last 27.
2004.
It's just an exercise in futility right here. 2004. Jeff, oh gosh, Reggie Williams is really flashing.
That's what you're proving my point.
Daryl Smith is going to start for us, and Greg Jones is a beast, and boy, we really like this Maddox kid that we got, and Ernest Wilford's been doing some things, and now we got a kicker with Scobie.
Yeah.
And why am I proving your point? Bobby McCray in the 7th round is going to make an impact
none of
at
those
the end.
players you just mentioned did anything to stand out. We didn't know who Reggie Williams was till the draft process started. You knew Travis Etienne was.
We knew who Reggie Williams was at Washington. They talked hugely about. We watched Reggie Williams at Washington all the time.
Yeah,
you know that. You knew who he was.
Well, again, no one thought Reggie Williams was the next Jerry Rice, and no one wanted the Jags to. No one wanted the Jags to draft Reggie Williams. We weren't talking Reggie Williams being the pick before that draft. It was just a guy.
Reggie Williams was very well respected. Coming out of
you're giving me Greg
college.
Jones. I'm giving you the guy who's the all-time leading rusher in the ACC. I think that this draft class has shown signs and have been evaluated.
Daryl Smith was a heck of an NFL player?
Yes, after the fact. I would love to get a Daryl Smith. Here's hoping that, Andre Cisco plays to that level at a different position. I would argue that the ceiling for picks 1 through 5.
We didn't know who Andre Cisco was before this draft.
What are you talking about?
You never heard of Andre Cisco
anybody
before
who
this
watches
draft.
the AC. Go ask a Clemson fan if they know who Andre Cisco is.
Come on.
They led the whole conference in picks one year. It's not this guy was probably every guy Little and Cisco would have been higher draft picks if they hadn't come off of the injury situations that they were. These guys played it.
Reggie Williams had 94 and 89 catches 2 years at Washington. 94 for 1,450 yards and 11 tutties, and then 89, 1109, and 8 touchdowns. 22 in his career. That's a lot of catches, man.
Yeah.
I thought big time of Reggie Williams.
I never wanted Reggie. We never. Yeah.
I think we loved Reggie Williams coming here.
Justin Blackman was much more optimistic draft pick than Reggie Williams was.
All right, Beef's telling me we got to keep it moving here, so I'll try to work with you in the break.
No, it's all. It's.
I hope you're right.
Well, no kidding.
I don't know how
that was kind of the thing. It's not a prediction.
I don't know how.
You're responding to me like it's a prediction. And I am going to stand by. Those guys have hires. Walker Little will be a bigger fixture around here than the other second round than Brian DeMarco was.
Daryl Smith?
No, at his position.
Well, you can't. I was just all right. Caller number 3, Beef. What are they going to take home? Boogity, boogity, boogity.
Caller number 3 right now, 641-1010. Going to go home with a pair of tickets to the Wawa 250 that comes up Friday, August 27th at the Daytona International Speedway. And then don't forget, you can also text the keyword 0. That's the word 0, not the number 0, Z-E-R-O, to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosure 641-1010, and you'll be entered into the drawing for a pair of tickets into the Coke Zero Sugar 400 that following Saturday, August 28th.